carrying on, we've got the rod assembly. I have measured all of these with a set of digital calipers, and the drawing in the manual is actually spot on, so you don't need calipers to actually measure them. You can just measure the rods next to each of these images in the manual, and you should have the right lengths for all of them. You can see here we've got the rest of the steering linkages for the front end being put on. Nothing special, nothing special. So we have the bumper, front bumper. I've already been through this, but be careful when working with the clip. I cut this little pin off here, the little post, by accident, and so I had to drill through, insert a needle and glue it in place, and then put it into there, and it actually works fine now, but that's something you need to be careful of if you're doing when you're cutting it from the parts tree. You've got a small trailer hitch. I've not actually glued it in. It's if you leave a bit of the flashing around the edge of the parts, it actually goes in quite tight anyway, but you can glue that in if you need to, I guess. The LEDs I haven't done on camera. I'm still going to do those later. Right, this part. I want you to do this part before you actually start assembling the drive shafts. I would recommend putting the ball studs on, but do not put the shaft or the bearings in at this point. I'd just save that until after you've made the drive shafts. And here you have the main assembly for the chassis. Again, not really anything special to it. Here we have the main plate going on. There's a small section. This piece here will come joined onto this main plastic base back here or back here, I forget which hand. That's the switch cover for the switch. The kit does not come with a switch, so just keep that in mind. But there is that little switch positioning there. As you can see, the servo is also slightly off-center, which if we can see here. But that's not really a problem because the steering rack will keep it all centered properly. So that's one thing you don't really need to worry about. Go for the rest. We've got the servo. Already covered that in a previous video about setting that up. Then we've got the shocks. I did not measure this one, so I'm not sure if that's the right length, but I mean most people will probably custom length it anyway. I'd say make it 15mm maybe, give it a bit more ride height, so a little less likely to high center, but that's still going to be a big problem with the car. Then you got your drive shafts. So it's at this point, if you remember earlier, I said save the bearings and shafts until this step before you put these in. Otherwise they could come out, they could get lost, and it's best to put them in when you're attaching the drive shafts, basically. So where were we? So it says step 24 for that. Just put the ball studs, not the bearing and shaft. For the bearing and shaft, wait till step 30. That way you won't lose any of the parts. You can see the rest just gets assembled pretty simply. Then you have the assembly for the body, which I'm still in the process of painting, and I haven't started on the lights yet, which I'm going to be doing later today. So a lot of this will get done off camera. This grill is not plastic. It's actually the like the etched metal that you can get for the parts for the Land Rover Defender, the front grille section for the lights. It's exactly the same. It's metal material, so be careful with that. If you overbend these little tabs or the end sections, they will break off. And there's also going to be 4. Now, LEDs don't come with the kit, but I'm going to be putting them on for Cemal when I get the other 2. There's going to be 4 in the body shell, so I'll have to make those on a plug, so you'll be able to remove the body. So the body shell can be removed. So that's something to keep in mind. Either that or really long wire. And you just put it on the rest of the parts. And that's just about that. So as you can see, the body clips in. We spoke about that clip part earlier. It slots in at the back of the main chassis plate and then clips in at the front. And the tyres. And that is that. So yeah, just keep note of the parts I've mentioned throughout the video. Which step where and which parts are probably better left till a later point or an earlier point based on what it is they're doing. So yeah, and that's that. Thank you for listening to the video.